There is a sad reality about being locked up, and that is that at some point you will have to fight. Sometimes you may even have to fight a lot. You may not even be looking for the trouble will come to you, and you will have to do something about it. Because the truth of the matter is, if you don't do anything when it's time to fight, that could be a lot worse for you. In relation to being locked up, it is always better to take an ass whooping instead of not doing anything about it. Because if you don't do anything about it, you will be perceived as weak and you will become prey while in prison. I've spent most of my adult life locked up, and it's safe to say I've gotten in quite a few fights. And a lot more than I lost than I won. But still, I fought. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about a time when I wasn't looking for the trouble at all, and the trouble found me, and I ended up getting beat up pretty damn bad because of this. In fact, it wasn't just a fight that I got in. I got jumped by two young gang members in the jail over a box of peanut butter wafer bars. Yeah, a box of peanut butter wafer bars. That's what I got my ass kicked for. This happened a long time ago. This also happened during a time that I was learning to tattoo while in the jail. And it was pick and poke tattoo work that I was doing. But in this jail, it was heavily populated by young gang members. And the truth is, to be a white guy in this jail, you really had to be about your business, or you were gonna have a really tough time being locked up here. When I first was brought into the housing unit at this jail, I didn't know anyone in there. I had to be very cautious when coming into this new environment and observe everything that was going on inside of here so that I could get an idea of just what this was going to be. And through that observation, it didn't take me long to realize that this cell block was overcrowded with these young gang members who were completely out of control. I also noticed that there weren't very many white guys in this cell block either. And because of that, in this particular jail, white guys were the targets. They were considered easy prey. And if you did not go hard, you were definitely going to be a victim in this cell block. In fact, the very first evidence that I saw of this was about a week after I had been in there, and it was commissary day. The day that prisoners are allowed to receive the commissary that they ordered. So while seeing the very few prisoners in this cell block who did receive commissary, it wasn't but a short time later that I see a white guy coming into the cell block after just receiving his commissary, and he's walking in with his laundry bag, his mesh laundry bag full of commissary items, almost looking like a Christmas goodie bag. And mind you, I had absolutely no money while in this jail, so Joe wasn't making any commissary. But I watched this white guy with his Christmas goodie bag full of commissary go up the stairs to his cell. And it wasn't but a very short time later that I saw this same white guy come literally running down the stairs through the housing unit and to the door that leads out of the housing unit, banging on it. Boom, 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 boom. CO, CO, get me out of here. What the hell is going on? But I knew better. I knew something had taken place up there in his cell, probably involving these young, out-of-control gang members and his commissary. And whatever that was that took place was the reason he came bolting down those stairs to that door, banging for dear life for the guards to get him out of there. Boom, 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 CO, help me! And this was home for Joe for a few months. The guards, they came, they took this prisoner away. I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he went to protective custody, maybe another housing unit, but I don't know. What I do know is I began doing tattoo work inside of this housing unit. Why? Well, one, I had to. I had to have a way to survive. I needed money, any kind of money that I could get. Oh, you want to get your whole back tatted? No regrets? Okay, yeah, I can do that for you. Just give me $5. $5 tattoos, no matter really what it was, because Joe was that hungry for it. And for the most part, this went along without a problem. I was doing my tattoo work. I was making a very little amount of money, but I was surviving. But then as time progressed, housing units, they have a way of changing inside of jail. People leave, new people come in, things change. Things can either get better, things can either get worse. Well, in this case, things got worse. In fact, it wasn't that people were leaving from this housing unit. It was that more people were being brought in. Because you see, at the time, this jail was completely overcrowded. And what that meant was they had more prisoners inside of the housing units than they had actual bunk space for. So because of this, they had prisoners sleeping on the floors. And not just any old prisoners. No, of course not. More young gang members. I was asleep in my cell one day, and of course, mind you, I slept on the floor. But I'll never forget being woken up to the presence of somebody being in my cell. And when I was woken up and I looked, I saw one of these young gang member prisoners literally standing in my cell, hiding, peeking around the corner of the door of the cell. And while I was watching him do this, I couldn't help but notice that his hands were completely covered in blood. To be honest with you, I didn't even want to know what happened. Because in a lot of cases, the best way that you can survive being locked up is to not see things that you're not supposed to see. It was later that I found out that I had literally slept through a pretty vicious attack inside of the housing unit. A couple of gang members beating the shit out of another guy. But yeah, I slept right through that. So with all of this craziness that was going on inside of this housing unit on pretty much a daily basis, old Joe just continued to tattoo away. What you want right there? You want 10 teardrops? All right, let's see if we can make that happen for you. But on this one day, another commissary day, another day when Joe had no money to spend and had no commissary to pick up. I was, however, getting paid for a few tattoos that I did. Not a lot of money at all. You may be talking about $10, $15 at the very most. So after being paid on this commissary day and I'm in my cell, putting these things away, trying to hide them the best that I can, how can I hide these boxes of peanut butter wafer bars so these guys can't see these things? While trying to figure out a way to do just that, two of these young gang member prisoners walked into my cell. I'm putting my things away. I turn around and they're standing right there at the door of my cell. I immediately get up because I already know what this is. I think to myself, gosh almighty, isn't there another guy in here who's got more money than this? But I stood up and one of these two guys said to me, he said, "Hey, let me get that." Let you get what? "I know you got commissary in here. Let me get it." Well, I sure know this isn't going to end well. And I said, no, I'm not giving you anything. And that was pretty much all it took. The next thing I know, bang, 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 bang. Kind of being caught off guard that this is happening as fast as it is happening. I recover off of the bunk, bang, 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 bang. And I just start swinging too. But my swings aren't landing as much as their swings. It's 4 arms versus 2. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. With the fact that I didn't offer to give these guys my stuff from the jump. "Oh, you want me to give you my commissary? Here you go, you can have them." And with the fact that I did try to mount some sort of an assault in my defense, this did not make things any better for me. Yeah, the foot stomps, they came next. I literally swung until I could not swing anymore. Yeah, it was probably the foot stomping on my body and my head that did me in. But you know what? I gave it my all. Sometimes while locked up, you're gonna be in an absolute no-win fucking situation. And not only did they stomp the shit out of me inside of my own cell over 2 boxes of peanut butter wafer bars, they took them shits too. And to be honest with you, there's nothing I could have done about it. I got my ass kicked and I got robbed. But let me tell you one thing. After that incident, I still continued to do my tattoo work in there. I was lumped up, beat up, fucked up inside of this cell block, still doing me. And when the next commissary day rolled around, Joe didn't have any problems. In fact, I even had a few more things than I had the week prior. And for whatever reason, nobody came and tried to bring me any problems. And that may have also been because of the fact that when I was paid this following week, I simply took those items, threw them inside of the cell, and then stood my lumped up ass right there at the doorway. Not looking for any problems, but definitely on guard in case any were going to be brought to me. And I tell you what, for whatever reason, they weren't. I spent a few more months inside of that cell block, and for the remainder of the time that I did spend there, I didn't have any problems. I did, however, see quite a few other prisoners have plenty of problems throughout that time. And a few of those guys who had those problems, they also checked right out of the cell. Whether passing a note to the guard saying, "You've got to get me out of here, please help me," or however else that they did it. But they certainly didn't spend any more time than they had to inside of that war zone. It was because of this instance in particular that I learned. Jail is a violent, horrible place. And a lot of times, things that happen inside of there aren't fair, are things that you probably are not going to win, and things that you will just have to deal with. Because while in an environment like that, they pretty much have their own fucking rules in there. Hey, look, That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know exactly what you thought of this. And until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!